Have you ever felt like the world is constantly testing your patience? Do you sometimes wonder why certain people or situations can break your emotional balance so easily? Have you noticed how quickly your peace vanishes when faced with criticism, rejection, or unexpected challenges? Today, you're about to discover the ancient wisdom that will make you emotionally bulletproof. This is not just another video. This is the key to mastering your mind through Stoic philosophy. By the end of our time together, you'll have the tools to remain calm, centered, and powerful no matter what life throws at you. What I'm about to share isn't taught in schools, yet it's more valuable than most degrees. These are the exact principles that helped great leaders, philosophers, and warriors maintain their composure through war, loss, exile, and every imaginable hardship. And now, these same principles will help you navigate your daily battles with unshakable strength. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. This simple action helps more people discover these life-changing lessons and supports our mission to spread Stoic wisdom to those who need it most. Now, let's dive into the transformative power of Stoic philosophy. Lesson number 1. Name what hurts you to disarm your internal enemy. You cannot control something you cannot identify. Pain grows in the darkness of uncertainty. This is why a Stoic mind begins by precisely identifying what you're feeling. When you say, "I feel bad," that gives you no power. But when you say, "I'm frustrated because my expectations weren't met," you begin to regain control. The secret lies in pausing and investigating. What exactly am I feeling right now? What has this situation awakened in me? Make this a daily exercise. Write it down if necessary. A self-awareness journal can become your greatest ally. Name your emotions: anger, envy, fear, wounded pride, insecurity. They lose their power over you when brought into the light. Moreover, observe the patterns. If every time someone interrupts you, you become irritated, then there lies a wound that needs healing, not an external enemy that needs fighting. The Stoic mind doesn't run from triggers. It studies their mechanism. With time, this precise diagnosis weakens others' power over you. Today, if something affects you, don't rush to react, rush to name it. Emotional clarity is the first step toward lasting peace. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Lesson number 2. Recognize attacks as reflections of others' pain. Most people act from their own pain, not because of who you are. When someone despises you, yells at you, ignores you, or tries to diminish you, it's almost always because they carry an internal chaos that's overflowing. The Stoic mind, instead of absorbing this chaos, observes it with silent compassion. Try this exercise. The next time someone treats you poorly, take a deep breath and mentally say, "This person is fighting an internal war." This simple thought takes the focus off you and returns responsibility to where it belongs. This doesn't mean tolerating abuse or injustice, but it means stopping internalizing as if the error were yours. Practice this with small situations: someone rude in traffic, a harsh colleague at work, an unfounded criticism. Instead of reacting with anger, react with perception. You'll be surprised how much peace can be preserved with this small shift in perspective. Now imagine this practice becoming natural. Imagine living immune to offense, free from the need to retaliate, shielded against negativity. This is more than emotional intelligence, it's spiritual maturity. As Epictetus wisely noted, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Before we continue with our next powerful lesson, if you're finding value in these teachings, please support this channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. This helps our community grow and allows me to continue creating content that can transform lives. Now, let's move forward. Lesson number 3. Train your reactions before the world provokes you. You don't need to wait for chaos to learn to react with calm. A Stoic anticipates. They prepare in times of peace to face storms without losing their balance. This practice is called premeditatio malorum, the conscious anticipation of what might go wrong. not to live in fear but to live prepared. And the more prepared you are, the less vulnerable you'll become. Apply this right now. Take a piece of paper and write, what might throw me off balance today, be it criticism, delay, offense, or a mistake you might make. Then write beside it, how can I respond to this serenely? This simple training gives you a tremendous advantage over impulse. It transforms automatic reactions into conscious responses. Don't wait for the world to challenge you only to discover you're unprepared. The Stoic mind is like a warrior who trains daily for battles that may never come. And that's why when they do arrive, he wins without fighting, without losing control, without losing himself. He has already experienced it in his mind before. This exercise doesn't require time, it requires intention. You can do it on your way to work, before a meeting, upon waking up. It becomes a habit that reinforces your mental armor, and the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Challenges continue to exist, but you are no longer the same in the face of them. As Seneca advised, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Lesson number 4, transform contempt into strategic silence. Not every provocation deserves a response. Not every attack merits a reaction. One of the greatest powers of the Stoic mind is knowing when to remain silent, not out of weakness, but out of strategy. Well-used silence is a declaration of authority. It's as if you're saying, I am too great to stoop to that level. When you learn not to react to everything, you begin to master what truly matters, your own peace. In practice, this means resisting the temptation to counter. Sometimes someone will prod you, hoping you'll explode, and when you merely observe, this completely disarms the situation. What most irritates a toxic person is seeing they no longer have power over you. Silence is the shout of the trained mind, but attention, this silence must be conscious. It's not the silence of wounded pride or avoidance. It's the silence of mastery, a silence that doesn't carry resentment but firmness, a silence that saves energy for what's truly worthwhile. Practice this with small situations. That passive-aggressive comment in the family group, silence. That indirect remark at work, silence, and observe the power that emerges when you don't give disrespect a stage. Over time, you'll notice the less you respond to noise, the more you hear your own inner voice. And it's clear, it's wise, it guides you away from unnecessary confusion. This posture begins to shape your environment. People respect you more, and those who don't naturally drift away. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Lesson number 5, replace judgment with silent curiosity. Judging is easy, quick, automatic, but it's also one of the most effective ways to lose peace. The Stoic mind, on the contrary, chooses the less noisy and wiser path, that of silent curiosity. When someone acts in an absurd, offensive or illogical manner, instead of labeling, the Stoic asks, what might this person have experienced to act this way? This isn't being naive, it's being profound. In practice, this simple shift in posture completely changes your reaction. You leave attack mode and enter observation mode. This protects you, preserves you, and more. It opens space so you don't contaminate yourself with anger, contempt, or the desire for revenge. Judgment poisons you, curiosity liberates you. Try this today. When you see someone acting in a way that would normally irritate you, pause, breathe, and think, could they be going through something I can't see? Is it fear, trauma, despair? By doing this, you shift the focus from superficial behavior to the human being behind it, and then you stop reacting and begin understanding. This doesn't mean accepting everything or nullifying yourself. It means choosing not to carry the weight of feelings that don't build you up. Judgment imprisons, curiosity offers lightness, and when you do this in silence, without the need to confront or explain yourself, you become untouchable. You observe, learn, and move on. As Epictetus taught, it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. If you're finding these lessons valuable, now is the perfect time to show your support. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to to help these Stoic teachings reach more people who need them. This small action makes a big difference in our mission to share this timeless wisdom. Now, let's continue our journey with another powerful lesson. Lesson number 6. Rewrite the story you tell yourself. Pain often isn't in what happened, but in the meaning you gave to what happened. The Stoic mind understands that between the fact and the suffering there exists a bridge called interpretation. And this bridge is built by you. The way you narrate your own life has the power to liberate or imprison you. That's why the Stoic doesn't cling to the first version of the story. He questions, he rewrites. Let's practice. Something went wrong. You were rejected, ignored, criticized. The first reaction usually comes with a toxic narrative. I'm not good enough. People always discard me. Everything goes wrong for me. But the Stoic interrupts this avalanche. He thinks, is this the only possible interpretation? Isn't there another way to see this same fact without destroying myself from within? This exercise truly changes your life because it gives you back the pencil. You stop living scripts written by hurts, fears, and traumas and begin writing your story with awareness. You cease being a victim of the plot and become the author. It's not magic, it's training. Every negative thought can be revised. Every toxic feeling can be traced back to the story that generated it. Create the habit of reviewing your interpretations. Write them down, question them, reconstruct them. Ask yourself, if a friend of mine were going through this, what version of the story would I tell to ease their pain? This question takes you out of the position of judge and places you as an ally to yourself. And that is revolutionary. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Lesson number 7. Elevate your standard of peace above the world's noise. Have you noticed how you accept small daily irritations as if they were normal? As if living bothered, offended, or emotionally exhausted were just part of the routine? The truth is, you weren't born for this. The Stoic mind understands that peace isn't something you find. It's something you build with choices. And the most powerful of these choices is not accepting less than a mind in order. Elevating your standard of peace means consciously deciding that certain behaviors don't deserve your attention, that certain conversations don't deserve a response, that certain environments don't deserve your presence. You begin to select more carefully what enters your mind, just as you care about what enters your body. It's an emotional detox. In practice, start with the basics. Make a list of what has been consuming you mentally, people, situations, repetitive thoughts. Ask yourself, does this deserve to occupy space in here? If the answer is no, begin to distance yourself gradually, firmly. Trade exposure for protection. Trade reactivity for presence. Trade drama for direction. You don't need to give explanations. Elevating the standard is a silent act. It's you with yourself. It's knowing what you deserve. It's building an internal environment so strong, so stable that no external instability can bring you down. Peace becomes your new standard, and anything that deviates from it becomes clearly unacceptable. As Seneca put it, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Lesson number 8. Practice strategic forgetting. The Stoic mind understands that memory can be both a gift and a burden. Every time you replay an offense, a mistake, or a disappointment, you re-experience its emotional impact. Strategic forgetting isn't about denial, it's about choosing what deserves the precious real estate in your mind. Consider this: how many times have you carried conversations, conflicts, or criticisms long after they ended? Each replay strengthens neural pathways of distress. The Stoic practice is to say, this doesn't deserve another moment of my mental energy, and deliberately redirect your focus to what builds rather than what breaks. Try this exercise. Whenever an unwanted memory surfaces, acknowledge it without judgment, then firmly tell yourself, I'm choosing not to engage with this again. Then immediately redirect to something constructive, something within your control, something that serves your growth or peace. This isn't suppression, it's selection. You're not denying what happened, you're denying its continued influence over your present. With practice, you'll notice how much mental bandwidth is freed when you stop carrying what no longer serves you. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Before we continue with our final lessons, I want to thank you for staying with me on this journey of Stoic wisdom. Your commitment to personal growth is evident. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to support our community. These simple actions help us reach more people with these transformative teachings. Now, let's explore our remaining lessons. Lesson number 9. Create distance between stimulus and response. Viktor Frankl, inspired by Stoic principles, famously said, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." The untrained mind reacts instantly. The Stoic mind creates deliberate distance. This space is created through a practice the Stoics called suspension of judgment. When something triggers you, train yourself to pause, even for just 3 seconds. In those seconds, ask, do I need to respond now? What's the wisest response here? Will my immediate reaction serve my long-term peace? You can physically step back, take a deep breath, or simply say, let me think about that. These tiny gaps become powerful opportunities to choose wisdom over reaction. Start practicing with minor irritations, the slow cashier, the interrupting colleague, the critical comment. Just pause before responding. Over time, this space becomes your sanctuary of power. You'll find yourself responding rather than reacting, choosing rather than being compelled. And in that choice lies true freedom. As Epictetus taught us, no man is free who is not master of himself. Lesson number 10. Cultivate indifference to indifferent things. The Stoics divided all things into 3 categories: things we control, things we influence but don't control, and things entirely beyond our control. They practiced what they called the discipline of assent, refusing to be disturbed by what they couldn't control. Think of how much energy you spend worrying about weather, traffic, other people's opinions, economic fluctuations, past events, or hypothetical futures. The Stoic practice is to say, this is indifferent to my virtue and peace, therefore I choose indifference toward it. This doesn't mean apathy. It means proportional concern. You save your emotional energy for what truly matters and what you can actually affect. Try this today. When faced with a situation, ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, practice saying, this is external, therefore indifferent to my peace. You'll be amazed at how much unnecessary suffering falls away when you stop demanding that reality conform to your preferences. As Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Lesson number 11. Find freedom in constraint. Paradoxically, the Stoic mind finds its greatest freedom not in unlimited options, but in embraced limitations. Modern life overwhelms us with choices, possibilities, and the tyranny of more. The Stoic practice is voluntary simplicity, deliberately restricting options to find deeper satisfaction. Try this Stoic exercise called practicing poverty. For one day, live with minimum comfort, simple food, no luxuries, no digital distractions. This voluntary constraint reveals how little you truly need for contentment. It builds resilience against fortune's reversals and gratitude for what you have. Another practice is ruled choices. Instead of endless options, create personal rules that eliminate decision fatigue. I don't check emails after 7. I don't engage in gossip. I exercise each morning before work. These self-imposed constraints create paradoxical freedom, the freedom from trivial decisions. The constraints you choose prevent you from being enslaved by impulse, addiction, and external expectations. As Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little who is poor, but the one who hankers after more." Lesson number 12. Transform adversity into opportunity. The Stoic doesn't merely endure hardship, they transmute it. They see every obstacle as an opportunity to practice virtue, to strengthen character, to demonstrate what humans are capable of. This alchemical process turns life's lead into philosophical gold. When facing difficulty, ask yourself, what virtue can this situation help me develop? How can this challenge serve my growth? If dealing with a difficult person, perhaps you're being given the opportunity to practice patience. If facing loss, perhaps you're being invited to practice detachment. If confronting failure, perhaps you're being offered a lesson in humility. This mental frame doesn't deny suffering, it gives it meaning. It transforms you from victim to apprentice, seeing each difficulty as a training ground specifically designed for your development. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Start small. When minor annoyances arise today, pause and ask, what quality can I practice here? You'll be surprised how this simple reframing can transform daily irritations into opportunities for growth. Lesson number 13. Return to your fortress of inner stillness. Beneath all Stoic practices lies a fundamental truth that within you exists a fortress of calm, a center that remains undisturbed regardless of external chaos. The Stoics called this your inner citadel, the realm where your true freedom resides. No matter how turbulent life becomes, you can always return to this center through the practice of mindful awareness. When overwhelmed, pause and direct your attention to your breath, to physical sensations, to the present moment. Notice that even amidst emotional storms, part of you remains a watchful witness, untouched by the turmoil. This return to center can be practiced anywhere, anytime, in a heated argument, in traffic, during criticism, amid disappointment. Simply bring awareness to your breathing, feel your feet on the ground, and remember that you are not your thoughts or emotions, you are the awareness experiencing them. With regular practice, you'll find yourself able to maintain connection with this inner stillness even while engaging with life's challenges. This is the ultimate Stoic achievement, to remain internally unmoved while effectively responding to the external. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Now that we've completed our journey through these 13 powerful Stoic lessons, take a moment to reflect on what resonated most deeply with you. Which principle will you begin practicing today? Remember, Stoicism isn't merely philosophy to be studied, it's wisdom to be lived daily consistently in the small moments that make up your life. If this video has provided value, please support our community by subscribing to the channel and sharing these teachings with others who might benefit. Your engagement helps us continue creating content that serves your growth and transformation. Thank you for your presence and attention. Remember, the path to unshakable peace isn't found in controlling the world around you, but in mastering the fortress within. Until next time, practice wisdom, cultivate courage, and embrace the Stoic path to inner freedom.